It is Saturday, May 7th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Saturday puzzle, so could be a difficult one. I hope it's not too much more difficult than yesterday's, because I did have some trouble breaking into that puzzle, but we'll have to see. Today's possibly tricky episode of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Josh Lucas, David Innes, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster and the invaluable Timothy Mark. So thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. They are directly supporting this channel and help making this series a sustainable part of my daily work, and for that, I'm very appreciative. If you'd like to join their ranks and contribute to this series as well, you can do so at patreon.com/dailysolve, and there you will receive access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. So this week we had the May New York Times monthly bonus crossword. We had the Boss Words competition puzzle from the Spring Themeless League. And of course, we had the weekly mini puzzle speed solve. So those are all up on the channel for Patreon subscribers. And you also get an extra channel in the Daily Solve Discord chat server. But the rest of the Discord community is free for anybody to join. And do subscribe to the channel. That's free, of course. Thank you to everybody who has done so. And now let's get right on to the Saturday puzzle. I should give myself as much time as possible because you never know. It could be tricky. And this is a Saturday puzzle, of course, constructed by Rachel Fabi, who is a not quite debut constructor. This is her second New York Times crossword, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's get going. Let's play it. Strange thing to say. Okay, 750 milliliter bottles. I'm not sure. 3/4 of a liter? I'm not sure what that is. Blank C.J. Walker, first American woman to become a self-made millionaire per Guinness. Don't know this either. 12. Pretend. To pretend. And 13. Flowers known botanically as Leucanthemum vulgare. I don't know this either. Uh-oh. Lady Gaga album named for her aunt. I'm sure many people would just know this immediately, but I unfortunately don't. What about the downs here? Well, I'll keep looking at the acrosses until I get to 18, and then we'll look at the downs. Stops being stubborn. Gives in. And so maybe that will give me something. By ethical standards. By ethical standards. You did it by ethical standards. You did it properly. You did it in good faith. If this were a Thursday puzzle, I could maybe think, perhaps there's a rebus here and it's in good faith, but no. Cousin of a see, I don't think this gives in. That's a shame. Cousin of a Lutz, or Lutz. That's a sort of figure skating jump. So axle. I can never remember which way it's spelled. I can never remember if it's axle like this, like a vehicle's axle, or axle like this. That's so frustrating that I've put this into crosswords probably dozens of times, and I still can't ever quite remember. I always psych myself out. All right, flowers known botanically as Leucanthemum vulgare. What is this? I don't know. I mean, this may not be axle. Reese in Touched by an Angel. Oh, Della Reese was an actor. And affirmative on the USS Enterprise. Aye, sir, or aye, or is there something special about Star Trek? I mean, presumably this must be referring to Star Trek. Or is it? Maybe not. No, because there is a USS. Well, aye, sir, I guess. More spacious, airier. Carries on. Blank C.J. It's not Madam C.J. Walker, surely. Stops being stubborn. I think. Don't know about Axel. Well, the flowers probably end in S. Target. And then stops being stubborn. There's no accounting for taste. To each his own, that sort of thing. What about this? For real? And the for indicates texting language, I would think. Member of the AFC team with the most division titles. Well, I certainly don't know that. Target. Well, we'll just keep going through the acrosses. We'll see what happens. Birthplace of Buddha. I'm not sure offhand. Walks in the park. So, I mean, it could mean a verb. This person is walking in the park. This person walks in the park. Or it could be a plural noun. These were walks in the park. These were very easy. These were no challenge at all. Not how I'm finding this puzzle. Carries on. Right, so it probably ends in S. Does that help here? For real. Oh, seriously. With the vowels removed. That looks plausible. Tartarus by another name. That's a star, I think? Up. Aloft. Happy. I mean, the thing is, especially with these themeless puzzles, this could mean so many different things that fit in these cells. Compliment to a chef. Yum? By ethical standards. Okay, well, by ethical standards suggests an adverb. In other words, you'll do it correctly, if you see what I mean. You'll do it by ethical standards. You'll do it correctly. And so the Y makes sense here. Total, sum of numbers, for instance. Tepid assessment could be meh. So you said, oh, this crossword was meh. It was so-so. Tepid. They may be mixed. Media arts or something? Mixed media? I don't know. Eponym of a red and white heraldic rose. Oh, it could be the Tudor rose. House of Tudor. They may be mixed. Oh, metaphors. You could mix your metaphors. There we go. And French Calvinist. Is it a Huguenot? The sort of, French Protestants who, they're sort of a French Huguenot diaspora. Maybe we'll check some of these crosses to see. Replenish could be to top up, something that's running low. And Nikki Blank, beauty vlogger with more than 13 million followers on YouTube. Well, I must admit I don't know. It's many more YouTube followers than I have, though, so certainly more deserving of an entry in the crossword. Quickly put down. Jot, as in put down on paper, perhaps. And, well, this is a name, so the J might look unusual ordinarily, but it doesn't really mean anything in the context of a proper noun. Sap, depress, to depress your energy, to sap your energy. It's not a perfect match. Thought and thought and thought. Yeah, I don't think it's right. Because sap is sort of more active. Something is sapping the energy from you, whereas depression is more passive. So thought and thought and thought about. Stewed about? Wouldn't really say stewed about. Here's an example of when the parentheses are useful. So that parenthetical phrase, that about there, means we're going to add the word about both to the clue and the answer. So thought and thought and thought about, and whatever we put in to the grid in the answer will also have about appended to it. So it helps us match more closely, because if it had just been thought and thought and thought, stewed would, I think, be sort of plausible. But when we add the about, it becomes less fitting. And so that about is there as a bit of a hint, a bit of a help. Okay, well, let's see. What else are we doing? You don't have to tell me. And this is an exclamation. So the answer will probably also be something you would speak aloud. I know, or you don't have to tell me. Amen, or I dig, or something. I don't know. One of the few places where traffic is appreciated. A website? Site? Site on its own is sort of odd in this context. Outfit with flaps and snaps. A onesie. Maybe it is a site. Move around. Rotate? Ticked off. Here's another parenthetical word here. So teed off, maybe. Oh, maybe this is stewed. Is there another word that's similar to this? You don't have to tell me. Oh, I guess it is. Wow, after all of that explanation. Whoops. Oh, and sap is deplete. All right, well, there we go. My first instinct was correct. Eliminate from contention. Take off the list. Knock off the list. Take off the list would be someone has maybe unenrolled themselves, whereas to knock off the list is to outcompete somebody actively. Okay, suffix akin to orama. Fest. This crossword is a clue fest, clue-orama. Maybe. Give a lift. Boost, maybe? You boost someone over a wall or something? Pays in the Alps. So, this sort of looks like country in French, pays. Maybe it is. Is it Suisse? For Switzerland? Is that what that is? Not really sure. I'm wondering if I'm overinterpreting this. Escape. To escape is to get free. Long-haired star of 1950s TV. I don't know. Pippi Longstocking? Is that something? Although she had pigtails, right? Or something like that. Check attachment. And more affected. Oh, maybe boost is wrong. Give a lift. Hoist. Oh, hoist. That's better than boost. Hoisted. I was hoisted there. More affected. Artsier, maybe? A kind of pretentious affectation? Doesn't look very good with the crosses, does it? British singer with the hits How We Do, Party, and Your Song. Once again, I'm not the right person to ask. Way to go. Rah Rah, maybe? And network with Joy Reid's The Readout. Oh, I have no idea. Okay, maybe I should delete Rah Rah until I have a better idea. Oh, what about this? Oh, the Divine Miss M. Oh, Bette Midler. The Divine Miss M, I was thinking it must start with an M, right? That's a bit of, I mean, it's not really misdirection because this is, in fact, one of her nicknames, but it's sort of, if you don't know it, it's kind of misdirection. Check attachment. Club? Some kind of club? More affected. Long-haired star of 1950s TV. I don't know. I wonder if knock off the list is actually incorrect. Maybe I should delete it just in case for now. This is very difficult if you don't know the answer. I mean, this is just, there's nothing pointing the way to the answer here until you get them all with crosses. That's tough. Make it game-wise. Escape. Surely this is get free, right? With this being top up? I mean, set free wouldn't be escape. It would be to abet in the escape of someone else. Mimicked. Did, as in you did that person? It's not great, but I'm having trouble thinking of 3 letters for mimicked. I mean, ape would be mimic, but not mimicked. I like telling blank jokes. Sometimes I like telling dad jokes. Sometimes he laughs. Never heard that before, but that in itself is sort of a meta-referential dad joke. That's clever. Mimicked. Maybe it is did. Had a craving. Oh, that works actually, because this would be ed. Take time to think about something. And make it game-wise. Make it game-wise. Okay, what is this? Make it. Bag? Tag? As in the game of tag? I'm just not really sure what this is asking exactly, I suppose. Yeah, I just don't know what it's looking for. It's very frustrating. Okay, what else do we have in here? Oh, I don't think I saw this. Actress whose nickname derives from her middle name, Stomatina. I don't... no idea. I'm struggling to see what... I assume it will rhyme with Y because it ends in a Y. Okay, not my day, not my weekend, is it? these themeless puzzles. Decorated athlete whose name could be parsed as 0 plus loss. I don't know. I suspect if I had a better sort of database of athlete names in my head, that would be a little easier. Okay, so let's see. What could this be? Nikki Dejage? I don't know. Can it an R? Can it an X? Maybe S. Target. Now, what is going on? Carries on. Rants, as in rants and raves? I guess raves as well. Target. Steeler? If this were E from raves? What is that, Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh Steelers sounds like familiar to me. Is that? This would be an L, which is plausible. Tartar. Oh, is this hell? Is this a mythical thing? State emblem of Israel. Oh, I don't think I saw this before. What is the state emblem of Israel? Oh, anyway, sorry. So I said this was raves, right? Or at least I speculated it might be, because between rants and raves gave me Steeler. So I'm sort of putting speculation upon speculation. Target. Oh, strive for. There we go. So what is this? Actress whose nickname derives... Oh, Tina Fey. I was Stomatina. What? I had assumed, completely incorrectly, that this was going to be a single name, a sort of stage name, and that it in itself would be related to Stomatina, but that both of those assumptions were wrong. This is simply a surname and her nickname. I don't know Tina Fey's nickname. Oh, Tina. Tina comes from Stomatina. Okay, so I guess her given name is not Tina. I didn't know that. Now I do. Although I don't know what her given name is. Anyway, target is strive for. There's no accounting for taste. It takes all sorts. There we go. Probably should have gotten that earlier, but I didn't think of it. State emblem of Israel. Oh, menorah. That makes sense. And maybe this is madam. Okay, flowers. Oh, ox eyes are flowers. So maybe those are Leucanthemum vulgare. Oh, and the cosmopolites, it's an axle after all. All right. And look at that. And it was the way that I thought it was spelled. Okay, what is this? This looks almost complete. Stops being stubborn, relents. There we go. And by ethical standards is morally. We did it morally. We did it by ethical standards. Okay. Oh, birthplace of Buddha, Nepal. That must be right. Blank y pimienta. Oh, salt and pepper. And walks in the park or strolls. Okay, that was more straightforward than I was making it. Take time to think about something. And have a craving. You hankered for something that you craved. Letters. Could end in S. Up. Upset? Something has been upset. It's been put up. No, you wouldn't have up in the same word. Never mind. It's a pretty poor match anyway. Okay, blank house. I don't know. It feels like that could be many things. Playing past regulation informally. Oh, I know this now because regulation time refers to the standard play time of a game, and then you have overtime past that. So in OT, in overtime. All right, challenging setting for the 2020 Olympics men's road cycling course. Oh, I can't even remember where the 2020 Olympics were. Oh, but those were the ones that were delayed? Oh, that was Japan, right? So Fuji. I'm just guessing based on that I. Right, that was the Japanese one that was delayed. Okay. 750 milliliter bottles. Oh, are these a fifth in a bottle of in spirits in alcohol? Pretend. Unreal? So this is pretend as an adjective rather than a noun, or sorry, rather than a verb. Frat house, fraternity house. And letters, what is that? Take time to think about something. Sleep on it. There we go. Oh, Joanne. Lady Gaga album name for her aunt. That must be Joanne, I guess. Oh, wait. With an N, sorry. Okay, letters. Tenants? Oh, yes, of course. Those who have let a flat. A flat is for let, for lease, for rent. Aha, very clever. Very classic Saturday misdirection, I would say. Okay, up. Risen. I'm up. I'm risen. Out of bed. Lesser used passages. Side streets. No. Oh, I really thought that was going to be the answer. Lesser used passages. Side. I'm sure there's a blindingly obvious alternative here that I'm not landing on. But what is this? Prefix with night or day. Midnight or midday. And British singer with the hits. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know this either. Network with Joy reads the readout. I just have no idea. Family prefix. Decorated athlete. Oh, I'm back in this frustrating corner. Eliminate from contention. Boy, it really seemed like it would be knock off the list, but I don't think it was because it just seemed like the crosses were very bad, especially this looks wrong. So what else could it be? Slash off the list. Cross off the list. Cross off the list. Network. Oh, MSNBC is a cable network, so maybe that's it. Family prefix. Decorated athlete. No or nil? Zero? Nil? I don't know. Way to go. I assume this is MSNBC. British singer. Lesser used passages. Side. Oh, why don't I see it? Check attachment. A pay stub. A paycheck. Ah, there we go. It's been a while since I received a physical paycheck. Yeah. Family prefix. Step sister, step father, whatever. Okay. Oh, is this Rita Ora? Again, somebody I've ever heard of, but couldn't tell you anything about. Oh, Nadal. Oh. Rafael Nadal, the tennis player. So nada plus L for loss. Okay. That's sort of a cryptic style clue, except that it's spelling it out for you. And even then, it took me a while. I guess I just wasn't in the cryptic mindset. L is actually a very common cryptic abbreviation for loss. Okay, lesser used passages. Side doors? I guess I wouldn't have thought of a door as a passage, but I suppose it is in a way. Way to go, booyah. And Lassie, the dog, is the long-haired star of 1950s TV. And look at that. After all of that, Artsier was indeed more affected, as in an affectation. And there it is. All right, so we've solved the Saturday puzzle. Again, I found that pretty tricky. I guess, actually, for me, that was probably similarly challenging to yesterday's Friday theme list, so pretty much the same general difficulty tuning for me, but could be absolutely anything for anybody. You never know. These really strike people differently. So let's see. What did I find particularly challenging? This area I certainly found challenging. It's funny, after solving it, I sort of wonder why. I suppose Rita Ora and MSNBC, I just wasn't going to get those until I had plenty of crosses. There was just no chance. Should have put in artsier earlier. Suisse is very clever. Pays in the Alps, or pays in the Alps. So pays being a French word for country. That was very clever, and I think more challenging than most of the French. I would say that's maybe a notch more difficult vocabulary-wise than most of the French clues we tend to get in the New York Times crossword. Lots of cultural references in this. We had MSNBC, Rita Ora, Bette Midler, Lassie, Rafael Nadal, Dejaget, maybe Nikki Dejaget, Joanne, the Lady Gaga album, Madam C.J. Walker. Lots of names in this crossword. Oh, the Tudor, I suppose the Tudor dynasty you could sort of maybe put in that same category. Yeah, many names. Certainly considerably more than average. Oh, Tina Fey. There we go. I get another one. Della Reese. Wow. Okay, there were many. So that's about as themed as a themeless puzzle gets, if you see what I mean. It's not a theme. You wouldn't consider it a theme, but it's sort of a theme in the non-crossword sense. It doesn't fulfill the requirements of a crossword theme, but if you were just describing it in general terms, you could say, oh, this crossword had a sort of theme of cultural names being referenced. Because yes, there were quite a few, and I suppose that did add to the challenge for someone like me who does tend to. It's not my strongest area, I must admit. But anyway, that was that. We've solved the Saturday puzzle, and let me know how you did with it. Always curious to have that tuned. And actually, just as an example of that sort of thing, on Twitter, Katie Hale herself, an accomplished crossword constructor, had said yesterday was one of her best Friday times ever. She had replied to me in my tweet saying I found it tricky. So you just never know. It's always different. Okay, so now let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. All right. Bronwyn Rhodes explained tatting, which was clued tat in yesterday's puzzle, and I said, oh, that must be something to do with sewing. And she says, tatting is a style of lace more similar to crochet than any sewn type. It is one thread knotted and hooked around itself to create a design, as opposed to other sorts of lace which tend to use multiple threads or be forms of embroidery. There are differences between tatting and crochet lace too, but it is hard to explain textually. Yes, that's fair enough. This kind of thing is often difficult to get across in a simple comment, but thank you for explaining. More similar to crochet than sewing, so thank you. And GLA3DR explains Ali Raisman was in the puzzle as Ali, A-L-Y, yesterday, was captain of the U.S. women's Olympic gymnastics team in 2012 and 2016. She won six Olympic medals, making her the third most decorated American Olympic gymnast in Olympic history. She was also one of the 4 women to testify against the Olympic physician Larry Nassar to the Senate Judiciary Committee in September of 2021, along with Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, and Maggie Nichols. So thank you for that. I think that name sort of rang a bell for me, but I definitely couldn't have told you who that person was. So thank you to Glay3der for doing so. And Stepdad Dunk corrects a very incorrect assumption on my part, saying Ontario is by far the most populous Canadian province. Toronto is incomparable to other Canadian cities in terms of size, plus Ottawa, Hamilton, and London, at 38% or so of the Canadian population, followed by Quebec. Montreal is the second biggest city in the country at 23%, then British Columbia at 13%. Though it's close, Alberta isn't far behind, at 12%, because it has both Calgary and Edmonton. The other provinces make up 4% or less of the population each. So thank you. That was correcting my misconception that I thought, British Columbia must be the second biggest by population province of Canada after Ontario. And I think immediately when I said it, I thought, That's probably not true because Quebec has Montreal, but I didn't really want to correct myself with a correction that itself might have been wrong again. So I just let it go. But I think the reason I incorrectly initially assumed British Columbia is simply because I spent so much of my life on the west coast of the United States, and so Vancouver was the major Canadian city in closest proximity to me, therefore giving it disproportionate weight in my mind, which is often how a human brain works, but not really justifiably so. Anyway, thank you, Stepdad Dunk, for that correction. All right, and there we have it. That was it, I think, from yesterday's puzzle. Everything I had to hand anyway, so apologies if I missed anything important, but I think those were the main things. So thank you so much for joining me for another edition of the Daily Solve. I hope you enjoyed today's puzzle, and I'll be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle. Should be easier than this one. Should be less difficult to break into, but of course it will be a much larger grid. So get ready for that. But until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.